Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Water and Sewer Utility Committee meeting today on Thursday, June the 20th. We'll start the order of business. I'll call the meeting to order. We'll go down to the approval of the agenda. Councillor Matart, Councillor Ramsey, is there any declarations of conflict of interest? No, seeing none. We'll go to number 4, adoption of the previous draft minutes, May 30th, 2024. Any business arising from those minutes? Seeing none, we'll go into number 6, discussion reports. If we'll ask the acting utility manager, Josh McGinnis, to proceed, that'd be great, on the Malpeque Road Water Station for the 19th time.
Thank you. So I'll just go through the report quick here. As mentioned, this is for the Malpeque Road Water Station roof replacement. So this is an update to a report we had previously presented. The purpose today is to, I guess, seek approval for the replacement of the roof. And we're looking to approve the replacement with slate. So the Malpeque Water Station roof replacement tender closed October 19th, 2023 at 2 p.m. Public opening occurred immediately following the tender closing. The city received 2 submissions, one from Evo Group for just over $340,000, and the second was from Robertson Restoration for $271,000 plus applicable taxes. Robert Restoration submitted the low bid, and it is recommended that the contractor or the contract be awarded to them. Robertson Restoration has agreed to hold their 2023 pricing. They have noted that they will schedule the work to be completed in 2025. This property was designated as a heritage resource by the City of Charlottetown in 1999. The property is listed in the Canadian Register of Historic Places. The only restoration-related funding would be through the City of Charlottetown. Insurance coverage is anticipated to cover an amount equivalent to completing asphalt shingle repairs, which is estimated at about $40,000. So that's what we're seeking to move forward today.
Thank you, Josh. I'll ask the councillors any questions. Councillor Ramsey, go ahead.
So we're back to this again, and I thought that we're just going to go with the asphalt. And then to see that, so there's no insurance coverage for the slate. It's just, if we put asphalt, there's a $40,000 insurance rate. Is that what I'm hearing?
Currently, they would cover the approximately $40,000 portion if we did slate, so that would be a cost deduction from the slate amount.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Matart, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess, as you say, we're back full circle here. Remember, we've had extensive conversations regarding the necessity of slate and preserving the property's heritage and look and feel, I guess, would be another way to look at it. But I was confident that we agreed upon that we would, or at least we, in principle, that we were going to go with repairing the roof. I still see driving by there, it hasn't been repaired with asphalt. So please enlighten me, or have we came back full circle now? We're going back at it again from a slate perspective. I thought we went to council on that, but did we defer it? Trying to remember. I feel like we went down this path so far and something was deferred, maybe to the chair.
Thank you, and yes, I believe so. We'll go ask Josh there to give us the full truth of what happened. You know, I know we bounced this around a lot of the time. We went to council on the slate, and then we come back. We were going to go with asphalt, so I don't know where we're at either, so I guess Josh will fill us in.
Absolutely. So we had initially gone back and suggested asphalt if it was to be a repair, but when the contractor had gone back and done a further estimate, there was a larger proportion of the roof that would need to be replaced, approximately 80% or greater, and they didn't feel it was in the best interest of the utility to do only 80% of the roof. So it was, they're looking to do a complete redo of the roof. And if we were to do the entire roof, it was suggested to do slate. That was the direction from planning, is if it was an entire restoration, it would be slate moving forward, but if it was a repair, we could do that in asphalt. Whereas it was a substantial portion of the roof that needed to be redone, we were looking to do slate now.
Thank you. And just to clarify, this happened during Fiona. We patched it up. We were going to do it. Then we came back and we said, okay, we agreed on asphalt. And then the planning department would like to see, or the heritage, because of the designation of the city saying it's historic, they would like to see it go to slate. I myself, it's a huge cost to the taxpayer. We could go, you say you can't repair it, or they would like it to go slate, but it is a asphalt roof now. It is basically a shed to control a lot of the water utilities storage. There was talk here that maybe it could be changed to an office space. Then we'd be looking at significant costs to change that to a usable office space. Again, I guess you want approval and move it to council. It's just a huge cost, but like I said, the mayor's been pushing this. He seems to think it should be slate. There's no official historic designation for funding. The city has deemed it an historic place. So that's why, the line here, the only restoration-related funding would be through the city of Charlottetown. So I guess it is over 100 years old. It is a storage area now. I don't know what yous want to vote on going ahead with it or moving it to council. I guess at the end of the day, council will have to make the decision whether to spend the money or not. There's a lot of places around the city that have asphalt roof or have roof look like slate, but I guess we have the one option here.
To the chair, I just want to make another point. I know when we were at council last time discussing this, the comment was raised regarding, what we're asking others to do from a heritage and preservation perspective, the city should be following suit. And I don't disagree with that. However, if the minimum requirement of this particular building to meet the standards of heritage preservation is asphalt, then I would think that would be in line with us not wanting to do something different or less of what would be expected of somebody else. So if there was a preservation or a heritage building that was being worked upon on a side street down the road here, and the minimum requirement was asphalt, and someone chose to do that, that would be in line with what meeting the criteria. So I do remember that comment. So I'm a bit conflicted as to whether or not we would be in line with what we would expect others to do as council here when we are, or planning board. And then secondly, I guess it's back to, again, the purpose of the building and where we want the building to go and maintain it. There was some discussion at the last meeting regarding looking at it maybe holistically is there a purpose for that building going down the road? Because that would be a significant investment to a slate roof for it to discontinue in its current capacity for another 100 years. And then another debate that came up was the cost over asphalt from a 25-year perspective. So if it was $70,000 to do that roof for a 25-year lifespan, and slate would get you 3 lifespans, 7 times 3, it would be the same amount of money type of thing. So I guess I think my opinion would be, is to move it to council for others to weigh in on the discussion. Again, I guess we're moving it back to council. I don't know where I will sit at the end of the day on my decision at this point in time. I think there's some other perspectives that need to be brought into the discussion. So if what we're here today to do is to endorse it moving to council for further discussion, I would be in favor of doing that at this point.
Sure. that'd be a great idea. And thanks for your input. Councillor Ramsey?
Yeah, Justin hit a lot of the same things I was thinking about, but when the building was built, and I'm the same as him, I don't know where this is gonna go, but when the building was built, it had asphalt shingles. And then 1999, it was designated heritage, and it still had asphalt shingles. So all of a sudden, we need the roof replaced, and we want to go with slate, which is 3 times the price, I believe it is. And like, we can replace that roof, as Councilor Matart said, 3 times in the next 100 years for what we're spending right now. And personally, if it was a building used every day, you know, and people see, well, they see it because they drive by it, but it's a building you use every day, staff is in and out so long, but it's just a building that, I mean, that someone sort of designated heritage, and now we got to go this extra $271,000. And but I'm willing to move it on to council and let council hear all the facts, and if they want to go back to asphalt, great. If they want to go with slate, like, that's why we're all voted in to have the vote.
There you
Is
go.
that fair enough? So I'll certainly move it,
Okay.
Mr. Chair, ahead, to move the council.
Councillor Matart, second that, and we'll move it along for another discussion. Thank you. Exactly. Yep. This is just moving it on to council for a discussion. Okay, now we'll go down to the next, for the manager there, I think he has the report on the cruise ships. It was asked at council for a explanation of how much. It's pretty self-sufficient, but you can go right ahead there, Acting Manager Joshua, and explain what needs to be explained, if you could. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, the question was posed whether we saw a increase in demand when cruise ships are in town, and I'll just go through the report details. So Charlottetown welcomes approximately 70 to 80 cruise ships each season. Occasionally, there are concerns expressed about the amount of water that a cruise ship may take on while in harbor. The utility does not comment on the specifics of any particular customer's consumption. However, we can note that there is no significant change in the daily water demand that would be correlated to days when cruise ships are in port. Kind of a neat fact to know is that many cruise ships process their own bulk water. They can create fresh water from seawater. Typically, this is done through reverse osmosis water filtration systems that are powered by ships on board, or powered by engines on board the ship, as well as distillation systems that take advantage of the need to cool their diesel-powered engines. So a lot of the time, they can produce their own water while at sea.
Thank you. Question, Councillor Ramsey?
Yes, just for my own state of mind, I guess. So they are charged every time they get water from us as a regular customer?
If they were to receive water, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, is that right? Okay, I didn't know. That's what I was saying. I just didn't know if they just come in and that was part of the. Okay, thank you, Richard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, indirectly. So it'd be the Port Authority that would charge them, and then we would charge the Port Authority.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, sorry.
Councillor Matart?
Just
question?
on that, and maybe just for my understanding more, so I do believe this was a request at council by a particular councilman to provide that information. So now that it's in a report, do we just endorse to move that report forward as that information, or should that just been circulated to the group as a response to that, or is it a public record? I guess that's all. Do we raise your hand here and say, okay, yes, we agree, thanks for getting the information, please forward it to the rest of council?
Information piece.
Yeah, it's just an information piece asked by Councillor Tweel to me, and then I forwarded to the then manager, Richard, to look into, and they did a synopsis for it. So I'm sure I can send it to Councillor Tweel.
So no debate on our part? Like,
No,
there's
not
okay.
really. It's
Okay.
just an information
Okay.
type of
Thank you.
thing. Any other questions on that? No? That'd be great. Now we'll go down to our third and final aspect, the request for proposals.
So this RFP, request for proposals, is for tandem truck services as well as material supply and disposal of excavated materials.
I was just checking to make sure there wasn't a conflict or anything for you, but you've already taken care of that. Apologies.
So right now, we're seeking, seeking to move this forward to council.
I read these notes, Richard.
Surprisingly?
Yeah. Sorry about that, Josh. Go ahead.
No problem at all, no. So right now, the water and sewer utility had issued an RFP for tandem truck services, material supply and disposal, and had received 3 bids. The low bid being received from Label Construction, that was in the amount of $108,220 plus applicable taxes. Currently, we're recommending that this bid be accepted, and we move that forward to council.
Questions, Councillor Ramsey?
Yeah, and as I said, like, I'm just trying to get everything straight in my head too. When it says a material supply, does that mean gravel or things along that line? Like, I mean, they bring all that in and then take the old stuff away and, okay, I just want to clarify that too. I was always a salesman in my past life. I was never a hard worker.
Go ahead, Councillor Matar.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just in regard to the issuing of the RFP, or sorry, the awarding of the RFP, was this particular one just based solely on low bid, or was there other scoring criteria? And the reason I ask that is, as council, we're getting into a lot of discussions around various RFPs and awarding and different criteria. And I know in some cases, we're being asked to identify in a bit more detail as to how we got from the decision. But I know not all things are equal, but nonetheless, in this particular case, I'm interpreting this as just a low bid, which may be fair in this particular case of what it's being asked to do versus something in Public Works, which may be different and the criteria are different. So if we could just maybe explain a little bit more in detail for those who may be listening as to how we get to these decisions, if for whatever information you can provide, that'd be helpful. Thank you.
Sure. Can you answer that, Josh, please?
Absolutely. So this particular RFP did have a technical component. I do believe it was 60% based on cost and 40% based on technical. In that technical, it did take into account their corporate background, their experience in this type of work, the individuals they plan on having dedicated to it, and the equipment based on age and condition. So that kind of brings it all together for a cumulative score, and then this is where we landed.
Thank you. So maybe just, for future references, if we're doing that, if we could elaborate on that a little bit more. I think it helps for those who, and maybe those have already been contacted who were not successful. But, if inquiring minds want to know how we get here, it is a bit more than just a low bid. In this particular case, there is a technical component, which I wasn't aware of. So I appreciate you explaining that, because I think that does add a context to the price range. And of course, naturally, if all things are equal here and it is all 3 people just doing the same piece of work and low bid would be low bid, that would make sense. But if there's more to it, we should probably identify that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think to add to it is, I think we worked with this company before, did we not, Richard? Like, that doesn't hurt to add that in, what Councillor Matar saying too, is that we had past experience with a certain company, things seemed to work out good, and, I mean, that's not gonna be based on that one tender, but at the same time, it certainly, I think, clears the air a little bit too, because, as Councillor Matar said, like, RFPs and bids and tenders and that, like, we're really being questioned on them on the street, and we just like to have it out there, well, this is the steps we used. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we Finished with all our reports, and now introduction of new business. Any new business anybody wants? Yep, it's quick today, no questions, everything's... Yeah, that's all business.
Yeah, that's right. Not going on.
All right, we'll go to number 8, adjournment. Moved by Councilor Ramsey, second by Councilor Mattar. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Josh.
We're still live here.